Alright everyone, we've made it to Thursday and the reward for nearly being at the end of the week as we get to welcome on that wonderful man Stevie back to the channel. Stevie, we've made it to, and this is breaking news by the way, we've made it to 6,000 subscribers in the last 5 minutes. Woo!
Well done, well done. I mean, there is truly only one man that can take the credit for that. He's really done so hard to build up this channel. So, I mean, I think with it myself, that wouldn't be possible, mate.
Humble as always. It's much appreciated from everyone to subscribe, and we'll keep going. It seems like we're only at 5,000 a couple of weeks ago because we actually were. So it's been a big push to get to the 6, and hopefully we can get to the magnificent 7 very soon. Should say 2 big things, Stevie. First of all, you're joining us at 11:10 in the evening your time. So you're having to be a bit quiet because obviously normal people are trying to sleep at this stage. So if you think Stevie's been slightly quiet, that's why. But thank you for your dedication to the channel.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. I'm sure the great audience will make it known in the comments with nice positive things to say.
Wonderful stuff. Right, as we say, we're going to chat a bit about the upcoming game against Hearts, of course. Maybe look back at the weekend a little bit, and also another couple of stories to chat about as well that have come up. How nervy were you in the last 10 minutes at Dens Park on Sunday?
You know, it was weird. I think the only saving grace I had was the fact that Dundee up front and out wide are lacklustre. I'm not taking it back. I think they're a poor team.
You really don't like them, do you?
I just think they're a bad side. I think it says a lot that Aberdeen, Hibs and Motherwell, for example, aren't making that top 6. I think if it was the last 10 minutes against one of the teams, I would have been really on the edge of my seat and it would have been uncomfortable. But I just didn't think, when you look back at it, they didn't really have a lot of chances. They just sprayed and shelled a lot of balls into the box. But I thought we were generally comfortable without being. I think we were comfortable while still not being fully convincing. But no, I didn't really feel at any point Dundee were going to score a second. But I think I was more concerned about our play than them. I was more worried about what we were doing to ourselves and what Dundee were going to do to us, Hamish. But I can take your point that we really could have done without that daft own goal and having to hang on a wee bit.
Aye, because I felt like when that second goal went in, we had the game won, and like you saw that, like I thought the celebrations from the players. I'm pretty sure it's Matt O'Reilly when James Forrest nets that second one. He goes away down like that and kind of punches the ground. Like it was a huge moment, and I guess just a bit of a concern that we made it. A bit of a concern in the last 10 minutes, and we weren't exactly hanging on, were we? But we had some defending to do. But as I've said, I just think that's going to be this season. We're not the kind of team that can really kill games off this season, seemingly. So I think we can brace ourselves for some more of these games before the end of the campaign. We are another 3 points closer to glory. We're now basically looking at Hearts on Saturday, and I know that I've kind of made the rule that we're only focusing on Hearts, but if you look, to the game after that as well, the team do know that 2 home victories in a row will basically have the league won. Like, it's a really good position to be in.
Yeah, definitely. If you look at our remaining fixtures, 3 at home, 1 away, it's very difficult to tie away, but I'd rather be in our position.
League will be over by then.
Than our rivals. I hope so. I hope you're right. But yeah, I think if we were going to Tynecastle, for example, unlike Rangers, Rangers get a wee friendly at the end of the season. Tynecastle for us is actually genuinely a very difficult place to go. So I'm glad that we're not going there because they'd be rabid for that one. They really would. They'd be a completely different animal. So the fact that we're home against Hearts is a big advantage. It's by no means a gimme. I think we'll allude to that later on. It's going to be a really difficult game. It's going to be a tense game, but I'm looking forward to it for the fact that I think the fans will be right up for it. Because do you know why, Hamish? I'm right up for it. And if a tense and cautious guy like myself is up for it, then surely everybody else at Celtic Park will be.
I must admit, one of my highlights of the most recent gig pod was you and Reedzo, and I must say we'll hope to get Reedzo on the channel here at some stage. We're making plans with his. My people are talking to his people, and we're trying to sort this out. He's a hard man to get a hold of, but he was
crunch talks.
He was my highlight of the episode was you going on a Celtic podcast. I'm buzzing for Saturday, and he went, "Why?"
I don't know, I think it's going to be a nervy fraught affair, I'd say.
I have to say though, I'm looking forward to the game.
Really? Why?
You mentioned Tynecastle there. Are you ready for that riveting topic that 100% doesn't annoy people at all? It's VAR chat. Have you seen this? The SFA have announced that officials, and wait for this, Stevie, have given 10 more incorrect key decisions even with the use of VAR. It takes their season total of wrong decisions, even with the use of VAR, to 26. And remember those days when we thought that VAR would fix all the issues and we'd have no debates to be had? Well, decisions in the Premiership have been reviewed by an independent panel, which is made up of former players, former managers, former coaches, and they've considered what they call key match incidents. There's been a total of 1,181 VAR reviews this season so far. 76 of them have been on-field reviews when the ref goes over to the monitor, etc. The SFA says 90.3% of on-field decisions are considered correct. Wee eyes emoji, which has increased to 97.8% apparently when including VAR interventions. Now, this information was shared with the clubs on Wednesday, and 2 of the 26 decisions happened in the first half of our loss at Tynecastle. Yang's penalty, so the penalty we got, this independent panel have said that was the wrong decision. We shouldn't have been given a penalty at Tynecastle. And also the Tomoki Iwata handball that was given against us shouldn't have been a penalty to Hearts. The Yang red card that was given for his high boot has been deemed the correct decision. And those are actually the only Celtic related ones in the new 10 that have been announced by the independent panel yesterday. And I'm almost falling asleep.
I was about to say, mate, it's quarter past 11 here, and I'm going to get a wee pillow just to make myself comfortable. Just you keep.
It is the most boring topic ever, VAR, isn't it?
It truly.
It's kind of, to begin with, it was kind of like, this is quite interesting. We'll get wound up, etc.
Do you remember me and you planned to do a one a VAR chant?
It's never quite taken off, is it?
Oh man, I mean, I think that's one of the ones where me and you are doing it in the pub. Really should have just stayed in the pub. I think translating that to Celtic Park was a massive failure on both our part. Well, your part, you really wanted it, not me, mate. But I know it's funny because
how did that chant go? By the way, just in case people haven't heard it.
I wanna VAR. When we watched the game in the pub, me and you, talking about, VAR. I remember 2022, that Hearts game, 4-3 game, we said right away, this is not going to be the end of it. We're going to see so many more ludicrous calls. Celtic, among other clubs, are going to be in the receiving end of it. It's going to be a failure here because of all the problems with the refs, with the lack of cameras. We've said it, in fact, so many times on here. I feel like I just repeat myself, and the audience has probably heard it all before. The bottom line is, it's so boring, and I just wish we'd eliminate it for Scottish football and take a stand against it. If other leagues want to go ahead and do it, fine. I'd love to see the end of it here, but sadly, it's one of the things that's here to stay, isn't it?
Did I read somewhere earlier in the week? I'm just going to Google this while I'm talking. Swedish football have rejected VAR. Yeah, 14 hours ago, Sweden will not be implementing the VAR system after clubs voiced their opposition to the technology. That's their Football Federation chairman has announced that.
What is it with Sweden and football? Just combine them, and there's so many greats. They just get it, don't they?
Yeah, I'm just trying to see. Sweden will not be implementing the VAR system. As I say, clubs voiced their opposition. because it's been the centre of controversy. They're just not a fan of it, so they're not going to implement it. I think they are like the only major league, top 30 league, something like that, not to have VAR. So they've not actually ever had it. It's not as if they've got rid of it. So I guess it would be different for us. It's not going to happen here, but it's just like you're still getting loads of decisions wrong. I thought Ange Postecoglou's comments will shock. He's talking about Ange again. I thought his comments were interesting after the Arsenal game on Sunday. But yeah, I think we'll move on from there. A story that emerged last night for you watching: the Scottish Sun say we'll have to stump up at least £5 million to land Adam Idah this summer. That's the minimum fee that Norwich want for him. He still has 4 years to run on his deal at Carrow Road. We don't have a loan to buy fee sorted like we did, I think, for Jota, possibly Cameron Carter-Vickers as well. So it's a bit different here. Again, this is something we've spoken about, but if it's £5 million, slightly more, is there a debate to be had there over Adam Idah?
Well, if he puts in performances like he did on Sunday, then I wouldn't be anywhere near that fee. That was a terrible performance, but I mean, I'm not going to be fair. I'm not going to base it on one 20-25 minute performance. I think over the whole, I think Adam Idah's made an impact and he's done well for us. And I think when we were talking the minimum fee, would be £5 million, and let's see how he does in the next few games. Like, it's going to be sentiment based, isn't it? Like, if he scores a goal or something that wins us the league, you'll have fans who'll say, pay double that. He's worth the money. But if say, for talking sake, the opposite thing happens and he blows a chance or two, misses a penalty, like, who knows? You'll have people, like, again, emotional take over and people will be raging at that, going, no chance, just let him go back to Norwich. So I think it's going to be a case to see where we are at the end of the season and see what he can do for us in these next 5 games, really, before we know where that's the destiny is for him, really.
That's a cop out of an answer. Would you sign him? Would you sign him right at this point, based on what he's done so far?
Well, I'm still a mark for Bojan Miloski. I'd rather be putting the money towards him. So people aren't going to like what I've got to say, but I'd rather be putting the money towards Miloski. I think he's a better all-round striker. He's
probably going to cost 7-8 million though, given what Aberdeen would want.
I would pay top dollar for him. I think it is. He'd be fantastic. I really do.
I only say that because they wanted. Did they not quote some massive fee to us for Scott McKenna? It was something like close to 10 million. I'm sure.
That's right.
Like people look at Aberdeen players and still think it's 15 years ago where you could get someone like Miovski probably for 2 million, 2.5. But they'll get a big fee from Miovski, so it would probably have to be close to a record fee actually to sign Bojan Miovski, which is kind of ridiculous to say.
Who was the boys who would have been to Liverpool for decent money again?
The fullback. He's clearly made a lasting impression on us both because we can't remember his name.
Brilliant research here, amazing.
Google's getting a good workout today. Calvin Ramsey is his name.
There we go.
Right back. So. Why are you bringing him up? Just because they got a decent fee for him?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just because they get a decent fee, whereas in the past a team would have offered something like 500k, and Aberdeen would have been desperate enough to say aye. So I think we will have to, as the tabloids say, stump up big time for Miovski. I don't think Celtic will pay the money that they're asking. I'd love to see it, but can't see it happening. And yeah, based on that, I think it probably will be Adam Idah that we get in the summer at this rate anyway.
Yeah, I think we're going to sign Adam Idah probably regardless of what he does from here on. I think he's probably showed enough, and we know what the club are like. Like if they've got an option there who they feel is proven, and to be fair, Idah probably would be proven. You kind of know what you're going to get, then you usually settle on that. I think Adam Idah's been great, so I'd be for signing him. If it's Idah or Miovski for the same price, I think that's a real debate to be had. I think Idah's scored more goals than Miovski in the last few months. Could Miovski have scored that goal at Ibrox? Quite possibly, because he's done it for Aberdeen. I think Idah will be signed. I think Bernardo will be signed as well. But we can park that until the end of the season. Right, you've got a good memory with these things. The biggest non-Rangers league match at Celtic Park this weekend for how long? When was the last one you can think of that was eclipsed this?
Oh, the Hearts game a couple of years ago was massive. I think after...
This is bigger. League was won at that stage now.
Well, no, it still wasn't one. I mean, we still had to go out and get the 3 points. But yeah, this is enormous. I used the phrase earlier, a Titanic game, and that's what it is. And it'll be a disaster of Titanic proportions if we... I don't know. Well, there we go. Get me on the back of that. Get me right for that sun, honestly. I think it's huge. You know, thinking back on it, no. I think actually, hold on, 04-05, there was a home game against Aberdeen, because we had 2 away games in the last... Actually, no, 07-08, we had a game against Hibs. I believe
that's what I was going to say. Scott McDonald scored header at the back post.
Stephen McManus as well. That was a Sunday.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Ian
a
Murray
massive
gets
game.
sent off late on.
I don't remember.
It's mad the
that.
things you remember. Pretty sure he did.
I know, I've got a ridiculous obscure memory.
There's a Dundee United game in 10-11 when Kyle scored that long range one. I believe we were
4-1.
We were 4 points behind going into that, but that was our first of 2 games in hand. The second, of course, being up in Inverness, and we all know how that went.
Well,
but that was a major game.
Yeah, this is just, it's enormous. It's so big on Saturday, and you know, I think the fans will be up for it. It's all I've been thinking about all week, to be honest. And
Yeah.
I was saying on the podcast earlier, like, this is in my mind just like a Rangers game would be. It's you know, I've been thinking about it all week at work, debating it with people that I work with about how massive this game is. For Hearts' perspective, you know, they'll be looking to ruin that for us, and I have no doubt they'll be up for it. But I think we should too, and it's really just about the pressure and how that drives us, or will it drain us? And I hope on the day, and we've seen in the last few games at Celtic Park that the team have handled the pressure. This is a different level of it, but you know, we could have been Ibrox and folded. We didn't. You know, we made a really good account of ourselves there. And I just hope that, I know the last few games have been shaky, and you know, I understand it. We're going to get games like that as well, and I don't think anybody is going into this one thinking we're going to go in and batter Hearts 4 or 5-0. With this team has shown, you know, over the season that we're not capable of doing that. We'll get the odd doing dished out, but I just can't see it on Saturday. I think it's going to be a really tense, cagey game. And I think the fans definitely have to play their part. And you know how I feel about that. I think the players should be professional enough to... They've had all week to focus, and the managers had all week to prepare as well. But, you know, when kick-off comes on Saturday, the fans are going to have to create such a massive atmosphere for the players, and really help them through it. There's going to be some sloppy passes, there's going to be some bad decisions made. And I think it's key that the fans, while, you know, they'll be tense and will be frustrated, have to just show so much support to the players. It is vital, because all it takes is a bad mistake, the confidence goes. You've seen some of these players already, when the confidence is stripped out of them, sometimes they struggle to recover from it. Certain players do, and we just need everyone united on Saturday. It's as simple as that. There's a lot of problems at the club. There's a lot of issues with key personnel on the pitch. But it's just, as I said, it's time to just forget about that. And it's just about getting it's got to be total unity at Celtic Park for these next games, Hamish. And I'll include myself in that. You know, I do like a moan or two when things aren't going their way. But there just can't be any negativity at Celtic Park on Saturday. It's just got to be complete and utter unity for everywhere. And I think that's what we'll get. I think everybody knows what's at stake here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the support on Sunday away from home were fabulous. From what I've heard from a few people, you know, at the game, both in the Celtic end and, you know, the press bit and stuff like that, they've spoken about the support just not stopping singing the whole game. Which, to be fair, the Celtic away support are like that. But I think that kind of atmosphere, I agree that it almost feels, it doesn't feel exactly like a derby, but it's not far off it. And I think it's just, as I said yesterday, it's got all the ingredients for just a huge Celtic match. The only thing missing is the fact it's Hearts we're playing rather than Rangers. But I think even the fact that like if we were playing anyone this weekend, if we were playing, Dundee at home, for example, or Kilmarnock, it would be a massive, massive game, just given how important it is. But it's the fact it's Hearts as well, and let's face it, we owe them one. They've beaten us the last 2 times, and they've beaten us really comfortably. I know there was, refereeing and VAR decisions in that game at Tynecastle, but Hearts have been kind of comfortable winners in both matches, so I feel like we owe them one this weekend. And I just think the team will be up for it. I know, like, cynics might look at the fact that we've maybe not hit that level consistently this season, and the past couple of matches have been poor, and they'll say, "Oh, I might expect more of the same this weekend." Like, why are you so positive, Hamish, that we'll see something different? But I just think this team getting back to Celtic Park, where we've scored 17 goals in our last 4, I just think they'll be raring to go. I agree with you, it's not going to be 4 or 5-0. I have actually heard a few people suggesting it will be.
No.
It might be. I think it'll be pretty tight and a nervy game. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's goalless at half time, for example.
And I think Hearts will score. I think Hearts will score as well. Probably a set piece. I can see Stephen Kingsley all over it. It's just one of the feelings I've got. I know, nice and cheery, but as I say, I think Celtic, I think we will win, but I've got like 2-1 in my head. But it's going to be a really difficult match, and as you're saying, like you were mentioning earlier, the last 2 games for Hearts have been quite comfortable, and the one at Celtic Park was just like a real low point in the season.
Yeah.
I haven't been as angry, haven't felt as demoralised as
Since yesterday.
Shut it, I'm trying to be nice for people. But it was a real low point. It was a sore one, and I remember after it being so angry at the performance, and that was when, of course, things were so bad at Celtic. Not only like the board got it in the neck, but remember Santa get booed off as well. So it was like that was mad. But it was a real. I hate that overused word toxic. It wasn't quite at boiling point, but there were a lot of pissed off people that day, and I was one of them. And I would love, to look back on this season as that game is, been the lowest, and then if we look towards this game here on Saturday, to have like great memories in that one against Hearts at home, because you're right, we do them. I think as well, we're not getting into this one thinking of revenge. You start letting emotions and taking over, then it's a daft move. Some professional, I think, first and foremost, it's an opponent we're looking to just get 3 points from and the way to winning a title. But it would be nice as a bonus to stuff Hearts after what they've done to us already this season. And yeah, I think, like you, I'm just trying to be really, really positive about it. Like, I understand, the game that's against Aberdeen and Dundee have been really nervy affairs. And sometimes the players have let us down at key points, like they've not went on a sustained run. But in the grand scheme of things, you look where they are. They're top of the league by 3 points. They're in course for 3 in a row now. Okay, they threw away stupid points, and at one point we were behind, but we're back in top, and that's the only thing I really care about. It's all right to look at these daft points and daft results over the season, and I get it, because I've been critical too, but I really just want to go there with a positive attitude, and I hope the players feed off it, because it's just so important that everybody's all unified for it, Hamish, and hopefully it's one of the atmospheres as well that Hearts are actually hating playing in, but we've not seen too much of them at Celtic Park other than games against Rangers, really, and the most notable one being 2022 when a certain left back couldn't wait to get off the pitch. Barisic, not Taylor.
Oh, yeah,
Of
course. Listen, it's early here. And I was just thinking, because we've obviously had that defeat at Hearts, early March it was, and we've had 7 games since then, 6 wins, if you include the Aberdeen Cup semi, because obviously we did win, and a draw at Ibrox. Like, 7 positive results since then. For all of the kind of chat and the general frustrations amongst the support of some of the performances, like the team since that really damaging defeat at Tynecastle, we're all thinking that might be our big missed opportunity that we look back on, because Rangers had lost to Motherwell the day prior. We've had 7 positive results in a row. Like, the team are doing what's required when it really matters. And by the way, I was just looking at the team we played the last home defeat to Hearts, which I believe was their first win at Celtic Park in 14 years. Mikey Johnson started that day. David Turnbull started that day. Luis Palma started. And I remember at half-time, Rodgers threw on O alongside Kyogo. Alexandro Bernabe came on for the last half an hour. Anthony Ralston came on at half-time. I mean, we really were in a pretty dire position at that stage.
And weirdly as well, that came after we won the Champions League dead rubber against Feyenoord. There was a feel-good
We lost to Kelly, beat Feyenoord, and lost to Hearts all in a week. It was like the polar opposite of what we know. Celtic, terrible domestically, brilliant in Europe.
So strange, but as I say, I remember before the game having a really good feeling after the Feyenoord game, going, I think we'll stuff Hearts here. And then I saw the lineup, and it was really with Mikey Johnston and Turnbull starting, that you're just like, oh, come on. And a couple of my mates texted me saying, I think Hearts are going to win, and yeah, they were really right with that one. But aye, as I said, let's not think back to that too much. Hopefully we've got a better side now. Then let's look forward, and hopefully we can get 3 points on Saturday. We've got regardless, we've got a far better side to that day, and we've got better options, I would say. Certainly midfield with Bernardo now clicked, Awata. Hopefully got to carry on as well for his excellent performance when he came on against Dundee too, and out wide too. We've recruited, and I think we've got better options, and with Idah coming back, it'd be great to see him get some minutes too, Hamish.
You were getting some insight from a Hearts fan for the latest episode of Gig Pod, which has just dropped. What were they saying about Hearts?
So it was Craig Fowler from the Terrace, who essentially thinks that, the fact that there's so much pressure on Celtic and none in Hearts will go against Hearts. I think, amazingly enough, here's a stat for you. If Hearts do win, but it would be something like their first 3 in a row against Celtic since 1961, I believe.
Wow.
So it goes that far. And he also said that if they do win and don't concede a goal, it will be the first time they've won 3 in a row against Celtic since 1895 or something. But aye, that was where the history lesson ended. Craig was pretty realistic, saying that there's some Hearts players that are off the boil now. They're still generally dangerous, but I think he was conceding the fact that there's so much expectation, pressure on Celtic, and generally Celtic are big dogs that perform when it matters. The fact that Hearts' season's essentially over, I don't think Kelly will catch them in third place. They're in Europe, and essentially the players are already on holiday mode. He still reckons as well Hearts will want to turn up and give an account of themselves, but ultimately he feels that the amount of pressure on Celtic will drive them rather than drain them, really, and that was the overall sort of arch of it, but it was pretty balanced. So yeah, I think you'll enjoy it.
Enjoy the game on Saturday. We'll maybe hear from you over the weekend, and hopefully it's a positive Celtic result. Stevie, thanks once again. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow.